Um, we are going to be recording this meeting. Thank you so much for getting that started. And today we are taking a look at easy ways to use AI for your business. I am a millennial and I'm on the younger side, but I am not a Luddite, but I have no idea how to incorporate AI into my work. And I work at a nonprofit, but it doesn't mean that it can't be helpful. And so we wanted to take the opportunity to learn more and teach other folks and teach business owners such as yourselves on how to incorporate AI to make your lives a little bit easier. So we are thrilled to have a couple of panelists with us today. First, we have Charlie Morris. Charlie is a certified mentor and technology and marketing committee chair from Scorebox County. And we also have Jenny Yu. She is the founder and owner of one of our WBEs at Himalaya Quantitative Solutions LLC. So thank you so much. If you're not a millennial or you're not a Gen Zer, you're still welcome. Please learn. We want you here. It is not just for those folks. It's just the committee who's hosting this. So please stay, learn. That's all we want. Just a little bit of housekeeping. So if you have questions, we have time designated at the end. So I'm going to keep my eyes on the chat. And feel free to type anything that you want to go over, and hopefully we can get those answered at the end of the event today. My apologies that I did not update my information. So Colleen Lacoste is our certification director. Hi, Colleen. So that needs to be updated. And I'm Emily Glick, and I'm a certification coordinator. So without further ado, I'd love to hand things off to Charlie to get us started.
All righty, thank you very much. Just a little bit about me. I'm with Scorebox County. The SCORE acronym is Service Corps of Retired Executives. I retired about 4 or 5 years back. I was a software developer for half my career and a chief technology officer at software companies for the other half. My background is in computer science, where I specialized in AI years ago, the early AI, building expert systems for stuff. So this topic is near and dear to my heart, and I really love working with the tech. So what we're going to do is we'll be talking about how ChatGPT works. We like to demystify it, talk about some of the other tools, because ChatGPT is not the only one. It's just the most famous one. We'll be talking about the differences between the free version and the paid version. Then we'll go into some use cases. I'll do some of the relatively simple marketing type of use cases. Then I'll hand it off to Jenny, who will do some of the more sophisticated work with sales data and whatnot. Once we're done with our demos, we'll come back, and we just want you to be completely transparent about what the ethical and legal concerns about the tech is, as well as things that it really can't do. So let's go ahead and get started. The GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. That is a mouthful. So what does the generative mean? All of this technology is built around what are called large language models, which, quite simply put, they're trained on a lot of data, and they create sentences in response to input. There's nothing more sophisticated than that. It does not employ human reasoning. So there's nothing mimicking what humans do or anything, but rather this is a sophisticated mathematical model of what might be the next word in the sequence based on the data that it's trained on. So they're sophisticated probabilistic models designed to predict the next word in the sequence. That may sound simple, but once you consider what the data is that they're trained on, it's pretty amazing what it can do. So the pre-trained piece is the important part. ChatGPT was trained on hundreds of gigabytes of text data, including books, websites, and other text. The company OpenAI has not disclosed exactly how much it was trained on. That's the free version, is ChatGPT 3.5. The paid version, and we'll talk about what that means, was trained on approximately 570 terabytes of text data. Both ChatGPT 3.5 and 4 are current up through late 2021, although ChatGPT 4, as well as some of the other tools that we will talk about, allows you to use plugins and search the web for more current data. So the free version, it won't let you search the web. You have what it's got, and it's only got data through 2021. So if you're asking it about current topics, it's not going to know it. However, ChatGPT also contains tools that will prevent you from generating harmful content. So if you ask it to create anything that's dangerous, violent, harmful, obscene, it will stop and it'll say, I can't do that for you. We aren't going to demonstrate that. Okay. The transformer piece is the next most important piece. The transformer piece refers to the self-attention mechanism built into the tool that allows ChatGPT to understand the context of the words that it's being fed. So it pays attention to context. So some people go in and treat it like Google and just ask it simple questions. It's really designed to have a two-way chat. That's why it's called chat, to really explore information and data in more depth. So, for example, the sentence, the cat sat on the mat, it understands the distinction between what the cat is, what sat means. And so ChatGPT understands words in their context, and we'll see what that means shortly. So there's a computer scientist named Stephen Wolfram who says it very succinctly. The first thing to explain about what ChatGPT is always fundamentally trying to do is produce a reasonable continuation of whatever text it's got so far, whereby reasonable, we mean what one might expect somebody to write after seeing what people have written on billions of web pages. Some people say it's a fantastic replication engine, plagiarism engine. It just repeats what it's seen, but it's very sophisticated.
$6 wholesale.
Yep. And if we can mute phones and stuff, that'd be great. So the difference between ChatGPT 4 and 3.5, the paid version is $20 per month. ChatGPT 4 is 6 times more advanced than ChatGPT 3.5. It enables the model to understand context, distinguish nuances, and makes 60% fewer mistakes than ChatGPT 3.5. Interestingly, one of the things ChatGPT 4 understands that ChatGPT 3.5 doesn't is humor. So that's a nuanced way of speaking. ChatGPT 4 can process text and images. Actually, they just announced that's rolling out within the next 2 weeks. It will be able to look at images, identify things in images, analyze things based on pictures. It's really cool. It will also be able to take voice input, where you can talk to it in addition to typing into it. ChatGPT 4 has improved multi-language capabilities. You can talk to it in close to 60 languages, and it will translate. There's more steerability in ChatGPT 4, and what we mean by that is one of the ways to get the most out of the tool is to ask it to assume a personality, to say, act as a public relations assistant with 20 years of experience, or act as a psychologist, or act as a business financial expert. And once you tell it what to act as, it'll constrain what it's looking for. You can also ask it, steer its personality to output data to you, so that you can say, give me information written for a 9th grade education. Or even some of the more humorous things I've seen folks do is respond to me as though you're a pirate. And then it gives you pirate speak, which is interesting. It's kind of humor. ChatGPT 4 can search the internet to give more timely answers. They actually have plugins to let you do it, and they just released a Microsoft Bing search add-in to it. The plugins, and there are a couple thousand of them, give you third-party interfaces to make ChatGPT smarter. For example, you can use plugins to read a Google Sheet. You can use a plugin to access your Google Calendar. And it gives you access to all sorts of new features. I personally bought the ChatGPT 4. I kind of figure it's like 3 or 4 trips to Starbucks on a monthly basis. So that's worth it to me anyway. So some other similar tools. Microsoft has built their own tool based on ChatGPT 4 called Bing AI. This is free. It can search the web. I found it's a little slower and it's a little less precise at times. Google has their competition called Bard. It is, as things Google, it's designed to search the web, and they've just added plugins that let you access things in your Google workspace, like your Google Docs files and your Gmail and all of that stuff. The newest thing on the block is something called Claude from a company called Anthropic. Claude's an interesting tool. I've used it. Of the 4 tools, Google, ChatGPT, Microsoft Bing, Google, and Claude makes the most mistakes from what I found currently. Of course, all of these tools are constantly changing, and they are constantly being updated and being made smarter. So that having been said, the use cases that I usually go over in a full presentation are customer service, content creation, sentiment analysis, language translation, data analysis, and image creation. In the interest of time, I'm going to do 2 that are probably what most small business owners are going to get started with. One is content creation, and then we'll do language translation. So I'm going to break out of my slide deck for a minute. And on the left side of my screen, I have pre-designed prompts. So because this is kind of scripted, I'm a lousy typist, so I don't want to have to type stuff in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that I'm a jewelry store owner. And that happens to be one of my SCORE clients who is a jewelry store owner. And I'm asking ChatGPT to act as a public relations expert with 20 years of experience. You also have extensive experience with digital marketing and social media posting. That's where I'm steering ChatGPT on what the expertise is I'm looking for. Then the problem I'm giving it is I am a small business owner who owns a jewelry shop. We have a new diamond engagement ring design. Please write a 500-word press release that is engaging and exciting, announcing the new product. The target audience are young, affluent, engaged couples looking for engagement rings. That business problem, you want it to be as thorough and concise as possible. With these tools, there's steerability, as you see, and then there's something called concision, which you want to be concise with the problem you want it to solve. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. And this is the paid version. This will work with the free version, but I like the paid version because it gives more accurate. So it's going to go through here and it's going to write this 500-word press release, which I'm not going to read in detail. I'm just going to notice that it formatted it as a press release, so it knows what a press release is. It said city and date and your shop name, and it's going at it, and it's writing this press release. Now, I never advise using verbatim what ChatGPT gives you. I would view this as a draft that I take, that I edit, and that I use. But oftentimes ChatGPT in these types of use cases will do 80% of the heavy lifting. And then you go in and you edit anything that you want. Now, the other thing, so now I've got this press release, and it did a pretty nice job. It started with a leading boutique jeweler renowned for its unique craftsmanship for unparalleled designs is thrilled to unveil its latest masterpiece. Well, I forgot that I wanted it to focus on my white gold mounting and my expert workmanship. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask it to rewrite the press release now, focusing on that. So here it said, here's the it's spectacular white gold mounting, crafted for discerning couples. So it's rewriting this press release. So I'm going to stop it now so that I don't bore you, and I'm going to say, okay. I forgot to mention that we use flawless diamonds. So I'm asking it to add a focus on flawless diamonds. Now, this is the whole transformer piece where it remembers everything I've asked it. It understands the context that we're talking about a press release for a jewelry store with excellent design, craftsmanship, flawless diamonds. So it's just doing a great job writing this press release that then I would copy, and maybe I'm going to edit this and say, well, it's not quite the way I would word it, so I'll change the wording, but I like the structure, so on and so forth. So that's the press release piece. Now, let's talk about the workflow of a small business owner. Once they release their new product, they'll often have a website. And on the website, they may want to have a blog article talking about how they did this, so that people can come to their website, they can learn more. So once I have the press release, I can say, okay, now take the press release I just wrote and write me a blog piece about it. And it created a title, The Artistry Behind Our New White Gold Mounted Flawless Diamond Engagement Ring. And it put an intro together. It's talking about the flawless diamonds, so on and so forth. It's talking about the elegance of the white gold mounting. So this thing is going through and building a blog piece. So I could then take this blog piece, edit it to my liking, and put it up on my website and say, okay, now I have a blog piece for my jewelry store that talks about this product that I just released and did this big press release about. So it talked about why to choose our ring, what the conclusions are, so on and so forth. It's very sophisticated. So once you have your press release and your blog piece, the next thing you typically want to do is say, okay, now I want to go to my social media channels, because your website is one thing, but you use social media to drive people to your website. So now I want to do a 200-character social media post announcing this product. So here we go. Exciting news. Our new gold mounted, notice it put emojis in, it put hashtags in. If I drove it, like say I had a website, I could say, please include a link to my website right in the post. A matter of fact, I run marketing and technology for my SCORE chapter, and I do a couple things with this. When I get a webinar description, I have ChatGPT make it more interesting. And I also have ChatGPT do my social media posts for the upcoming things that I'm doing. And it's saved me a lot of time. Now, I'm going to switch briefly and just do the translation piece. Say I need this, say I have a Spanish audience. So I'm going to ask it to translate the social media post. And you can see my really bad typing skills into Spanish. And now I've tested this. I've taken it and I've put it into the Google Translator to make sure that it works right. And it'll even do other languages. So let's go ahead and say I have a Chinese audience. I can translate it Mandarin. And again, it's very, very accurate. So that's the demos that I wanted to do. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to hand it over to Jenny, who's going to talk more about some of the data pieces of it. Jenny?
Yes, hi. Let me share my screen from here. You see my slides?
Yes, we can see them. It is, yeah, perfect.
So I'm Jenny Yu. I founded my company, Himalaya Quantitative Solutions, about a year ago. I have 25 years of experience doing financial modeling, from data analytic tool to some AI and machine learning tool to AI risk management. Today, I would like to share with you some of the cases. Not all of the cases might be applicable for everyone right now, but I think those tools or the techniques can be applied to more than just 3 cases I will share here. And those tools can to know these tools are available by how easy your growing pain when your business grow and excel. And then later I will share with you how we can easily use ChatGPT to extract the useful information you might need to guide your business decision. So, we'll talk about the use AI can make it have a lot of benefit to improve your decision-making, enhance customer experience, and they will be cost efficiency. And the first case I want to share with you is a market basket analysis. It's a terminology. It is a technique that identify the pattern of purchase behavior of your customer. It understand what kind of products can purchase together, and develop marketing strategy for the product placement or giving recommendation, particularly online, and encourage customer to buy more from your inventory. And in order to do this type of analysis, you need to connect the customer purchase behavior data, and you find the right software to perform that analysis. And there was like a fancy tool, or they can be a simple tool, and to identify the correlation among those items, and also find the frequency, even the sequence of those purchases. And one of the things I want to mention, bring to your attention, if you have a data, you can have it start with something simple. You can use ChatGPT when you have a lot of data, you might not be able to load to ChatGPT. You can use it like some Excel, Google Sheets to just run a simple correlation analysis between among all those products. And it can apply more than just a product, can be the service. And don't wait for you have a perfect data to get started. The other thing is always keep human in the loop. One thing you want to make sure you sort of know what it to talk about. At the same time, be open-minded to learn from your machine. I can give you an example. I think in Walmart, when they do those market basket analysis, they find that there's a correlation between diaper and the beer. Who would have thought that those two things are correlated? When you find it out, then you realize that when people have a young baby, they don't have time to go to the bar, so they buy beer. So a lot of us today that they might just put those two things not too far away from each other, so people can easily grab the thing when they're shopping. So the other thing is kind of like the other thing a lot of people might use is inventory. The technique I want to show is those like a forecasting. If you know your historical like inventory, demanding, or sales, you might be able to leverage those historical data. If you want to make it a little bit more complicated or more comprehensive, you can add the micro information, the GDP, unemployment into those data, and they can they can tell you the demand forecast can give you some insight what kind of inventory you should have in hand. And there's after that you use some tools to optimize those your inventory level, and you can compare when you get in inventory all over places, you can try to compare what's the lead time, what's the transportation cost, what's the storage cost, and that can help you reduce those inventory costs and improve the efficiency. So, and another thing is you can, based on the information you have, you can predict which kind of machine or which kind of tool, which kind of car, which car can need time maintenance. So you can avoid costly downtime and keep those inventory moving smoothly. The third one is more generic. There's a lot of things related to business process. You can, like I mentioned earlier, the machine failure, you optimize maintenance schedule, and you from your data you might predict which kind of product can have more likely to have defects and improve the quality control. And also, if you have different people to work with the same project, or you can optimize the capacity allocation. And I think the number one thing to do that is just identify what business will benefit from AI, or probably just identify the pain and let's see what AI can do for you. And particularly for those tasks, I probably should make this. For those tasks that's repeatable and very time consuming, you can think about how AI can do that for you. And also always, you can always start small. The more you're familiar, AI can be an overwhelming concept. The more you use it, the more you engage it, the better you understand it and feel more comfortable to use it, and then tap its potential to help your business to grow better. And now I will share with you what are some of things we can use ChatGPT to get the information we need. So I put some of the, I think eventually those, I have some prompt questions for those questions. I think we're going to, I'll show you how, what this question can, let me find my ChatGPT. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's find a ChatGPT and so to do data analytical work with ChatGPT, there was a bottom. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong thing. So I have the, so in the data analytical part can only be available for ChatGPT 4. To get that feature, you can go to the bottom. You see my email address at the bottom. You can go to the setting. There was a beta features. You can add all those features on. You can close it. And then at the ChatGPT, there was a couple of things. You have advanced data analysis. So I have that. From there, I have a data set or I already downloaded. So let's play around that data. So first thing I want to do is to ask, like Charlie said earlier, to avoid the typing, I'll copy what I already typed here. To act as a as a data analyst specializing in transaction sales data. So, and then I will have it clean up the data. So I will load my data, use this plus sign, and load the data into the ChatGPT. So to ChatGPT, you will start to take the initial data and do process the data, make sure, there's no missing data and there's no duplicated data. And some of the data is in the right data format. So it asks for, would you like to know explore more next? We can ask like a lot of things. What I like to ask, what is the data about? So it gives you the information, tell you what kind of information is in the data set. And then you know what kind of analysis you want to do. For example, they have an order ID, they have a date, they have a customer name and ID, they have a segment, stage, they have a product date, product name, sales. And like if you want to say how many, for example, I want to know how many customers I have. You can ask that. So it tells you how many customers you have. And you can also say, what are my top selling items in dollar amount? So from there, I want to see if my top sales also have a top profit. So here they will give the profit of those So I can also ask it calculate what's the profitabilities. This is not in original data, the ChatGPT has to calculate it. So you can see some of the top your top customers, you have the best sales, might not have the best profit. And I think you can also say, can you summarize profits by maybe by regions? See what it is. And I can also get the ask a sale dollar amount over time. You want to I should copy and paste it anyway. And the Y. I want to see the trend of my sales over time, see what the ChatGPT do for us. They give you they summarize based on the data you have. They summarize month sales and put it in this chart. And if you want to make it look nice, can you use our chat? I didn't try that before, so hopefully, instead of just line. See, they give you a nice bar chart to tell you, to give your sales. And you can even ask, can you forecast my sales in next 3 months? See if it does anything for you. So it tell you what kind of methodology they use to run the forecasting, and hopefully give you some. They have a technical background here, and hopefully they give you the forecasting.
That is really interesting, and honestly, I'm pretty amazed of what it's about to do. I'm just doing a quick time check. We are at 1:46. I know we had a couple of additional items to go over. Okay, perfect. And then
so because the ChatGPT take time to run for the question, you can ask the question that you want to have the sales by see, that's the forecast of next month, next 3 month forecast. And the one thing I want to know, ChatGPT, I built a model for years, so I don't know, given how good is the output is largely dependent how much data you have. The longer period of time of the data you have, and the more comprehensive information you have, the more, the better the estimation and the forecasting here. And I think that's what I have here. And you can always run, there was a function you can always try to see if there's a correlation among your products. You can ask ChatGPT to reorganize your data by the customer, so you can run the correlation among the product yourself, or you can just ask a ChatGPT. I did that. I tried that yesterday. They are about 1,800 products in my database, and they give me 1,800 by 1,800 matrix of those correlations. And you from there you can ask what are the products have the highest correlation, and you can use the and then you can see how you can align your recommendation or placement of your product. I think that one of the couple of things I want to mention is very critical is whatever ChatGPT do, you always keep a human in the loop, because you have that intuition if a model is correct, if the output makes sense or not. Even model AI whatever work for 90% chance, there's a 10% chance it'll fail. So always keep yourself in the loop, because you are the expert. Then more than AI, just a tool, never be a rule. That's all from me, and our whoever, you can take over. Charlie, you can take over for the. Do I have to?
All right, I'm assuming that you can see my screen and you can see me now again. So there are a lot of benefits. It saves time, reduce costs, increase efficiency. There's a whole bunch of things that this thing can do. What I'd like to talk about, let me switch to my next slide, is talk about some of the ethical and legal concerns. So I've attended a lot of marketing presentations, and seldom do they tell you the downsides of the technology. So from a social point of view, because of the data it's trained on, it can have racial, gender, and social biases inadvertently. And I'll give you an example of one shortly. From a professional point of view, there will be a certain amount of job displacement. As you know, for example, you may not need a social media marketing person to do social media posts. This is very efficient at doing that. From an intellectual point of view, you have to be careful when you take stuff from GPT because it may plagiarize other things. What I do, I use another tool called Grammarly, which is a writing tool that I love. And Grammarly can detect plagiarism. So oftentimes I cut and paste what I get from ChatGPT into the other tool to make sure that it didn't quote something that I need to reference. Also, according to the Patent and Trademark Office, wholly generated AI content cannot be copyrighted. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't take an image, edit it, take content and change it, and then it becomes yours. But if you take a wholly generated piece of AI, anything, it cannot be copyrighted. So let me give you an example of bias. I used a third-party tool called Midjourney that generates pictures, and I had it create a hyper-realistic image of a happy child with an apple. And this is the imagery that it created. You'll notice a couple things about it. It's a white child, and it appears to be a white male child. So when you look at the amount of imagery out on the internet, the vast majority of it is white people. And from a gender point of view, there are more pictures of men than there are pictures of women. So when you ask it to create something, it's going to create what it knows. So I changed the prompt, and I just added the word multi-ethnic into the prompt, and it changed the imagery. So you just have to be careful because there is bias inherent, and it's not evil or or anything. It's just what it was trained on. So, couple legal issues. ChatGPT can use your chat data to train its model unless you opt out. There are two ways to opt out. In the data controls, you can turn off chat history, or you can opt out with an online form, which is how I did it, and then it won't use your data to train. Now, obviously, the more data it has, the better it's going to get. But you may have issues that you don't want it to ingest your data. So some other things are it makes mistakes. And those mistakes are actually called hallucinations. So ChatGPT requires double checking. I've found ChatGPT 4 is very accurate. It doesn't hallucinate very much. The other tools, especially Claude, I've noticed, hallucinates more. Some of its answers can sound authoritative and current, but when you look at them, they're not. GPT-4 makes about 60% less mistakes. And as Jenny correctly pointed out, this stuff lacks human insight. It only knows what it's seen in the past. So you want to vet any information it gives you through your own expertise. Put differently, If you're not an attorney, ChatGPT won't make you one, for example. And again, I've said that the knowledge is limited. One of the things I wanted to mention, there's a true use case where an attorney wanted to do case law, and it had ChatGPT search case law, and the lawyer did not check its work. The lawyer put it in a brief before the court, and the judge caught it and called the attorney in on the carpet. That's a documented case. There was a New York Times article about it. You just have to be careful. So the way I think about it is, think of ChatGPT as an expert assistant that needs supervision. Verify any factual information it gives you. Require that qualified people use it. So, if you're getting legal advice from it, by all means do that, but use it to come up with questions for your attorney. If you're looking for accounting advice, regulatory advice, by all means use it. It's very accurate. But I would consult your accountant or your attorney before making any choices. So what it can do is it can make you more intelligent. It can make you a better consumer of legal advice and stuff, but it's not perfect. And again, I talk about this copyright thing. And finally, ChatGPT might use your input as training. So just be careful. These are rules that, so I sit on the, we have an AI task force at SCORE headquarters, and I sit on that task force, and we came up with these recommendations of what to share with AI tools. So anything that contains personally identifiable information, I would never share with an AI tool. Anything that contains strategic information, maybe client communications, internal, you can use it with ChatGPT, but just turn the training mode off so it's not ingesting it. And then anything that's public, any of the tools, Bing, Claude, Chat, Claude, that's fine. These are general rules of thumb that we're advising mentors in our SCORE chapters who use these tools on how to use them. So just to wrap up, the key takeaways are, it's not human expertise. It uses a probability engine to create answers. Always check its work. It can really streamline small business tasks. I use it for marketing, for content generation within my SCORE chapter, and it's really saved me a lot of time. ChatGPT 4 is smarter, but it'll cost you something. I think these tools are here to stay, and I believe they're going to fundamentally revolutionize the way we interact with technology. So I think it's good to dip your toe into the water now, play with the tools and see what they can do. I took an online prompt training course. I found one online that cost $200 or something. That's the link to it. It really helped me get underneath the covers to understand how to talk to it more intelligently and get more from it. So I'm not trying to sell you on training courses, but I took a training course because I love this stuff. So that's it. Let's hand it back to our host.
Thank you so much. That was really knowledgeable. That was fantastic. I'm so excited. I definitely learned stuff. I took some notes down for myself. We have a few minutes left, and I wanted to take the opportunity, if anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, or if you prefer, you can feel free to type it in the chat, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And while we're waiting for folks to formulate a potential question, so earlier you all said that ChatGPT 4, I believe, has 60 different languages. I'm just kind of curious for my own edification, can it detect different dialects? So, right, would you be able to say Spain Spanish versus Mexican Spanish? Or do you not even know?
I personally don't know. I actually we have a mentor who is a Brazilian Portuguese speaker, and it's different. Portuguese is a little different, and he's actually engaged it in Portuguese, including his own dialect, and it seemed to do a fine job. So,
all right, good to know. Thank you. So first I see in the chat here, and then I will move over. But can it help write parts of a business plan? Can ChatGPT do parts of a business plan?
yes, in fact, that's one of the mentoring use cases that we train our mentors to help with. So the first thing that it can do is to help you create a skeletal plan, and then based on your business, you can give it information about the nature of your business, and it can help you fill in the blanks of things that need to go into your plan. So we're actually using it to help mentor clients on just that.
That's fantastic. All right, I see your hand up. Please feel free to unmute yourself.
Is that me?
Yes.
Thanks. So I would like a little clarification on that training mode. I was under the impression there is an advantage to actually have that on, so the machine learns more about like who I am and business and my needs. Is that something? So I thought that you said to turn it off.
Well, so there are cases where you want it off. I would never, if you have to interact with ChatGPT with personally identifiable information, people's names, phone numbers, email addresses, account numbers, I would never put that in and have it learn from that. Now, it's not going to disclose it. It's not going to like plagiarize it, but it's going to be in the model somewhere, and you don't want that. But just about anything else you can use with training mode on, unless it's confidential or sensitive. But you're right. All of these companies have a vested interest in ingesting as much of your information as it can so it can learn and get better using it.
I see. Now, so like if I analyze data like Miss you did, so that would be confidential, turn it off?
Yes. Yeah. Now that data that we got, we downloaded from a site called Kaggle, which gives you free data from all it. They just make up data for training purposes. So that's where that was made up data. That was fake data.
Right. For your own data, you would want to turn the thing off, because you don't, particularly if you have a customer name, address, try to remove them before you put them into training.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. All right, and then let me see. So and then there is like a commercial selling information going through the ChatGPT. Or the original company, they do collect and sell information, or that's something?
They haven't disclosed that. So okay. They've not disclosed if there's like a Facebook like model. I don't believe that there is, because people wouldn't use the tools.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's okay. I got it. That makes sense now. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're at 2:04. If anybody else has a quick question, feel free to ask quickly. Let's see. Oh, I have a couple coming in through the chat. So I see here, can you just write keywords instead of full sentences when giving instructions? Is one that came in.
Yeah, it's better to speak in complete sentences and be concise.
One other question is, if I put my business name, can it research my business and make a more specific announcement or blog post?
Yes, a matter of fact, if you have plugins and you give it your business name and you aim it to the internet, it'll likely find your website and scan it and do all those wonderful things to help you.
Great. That's awesome. And then this last one, Charlie, you had already mentioned, and I've used this myself, Grammarly. So did you have the chance to use the tool offered with Grammarly? If so, how would you rate it?
Yes, I actually have the AI tool turned on. I don't use it often, but I've tried it. One of the things that I like is they've got a voice actuated version built into iOS to the iPhone, and you can dictate a text message and it'll reword it for you, which is really interesting. So
awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much to Jenny and Charlie for taking the time out of your days to speak. I definitely learned a lot. Thank you for that. And to everybody else who joined us, I hope you also learned something that will be helpful for your business and moving forward. The one takeaway that I'm really leaving with is to remember that you are still the expert. This is just a tool. So always maintain yourself in your business and move forward and learn. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you.
okay, bye.